If being busy was a sign of purpose, why does it leave you empty? Why does a full schedule feel like a hollow life? Why do your days blur together, yet nothing inside you feels complete? You did everything right. You showed up. You worked hard. You stayed moving. And still, something feels off. Not broken, not dramatic, just quietly wrong. Maybe exhaustion isn't natural. Maybe it isn't proof of effort. Maybe it isn't even yours. Maybe it was taught, repeated, rewarded, until you stopped questioning it. Until tired became your normal, and busy became your name. Welcome back to the 999 Zone, a space beyond urgency, beyond pressure, beyond the invisible noise that tells you you are always behind. Here, nothing is chasing you, nothing is measuring you, nothing is asking you to become more, only to remember what was never missing. Today, we talk about busyness, not work, not effort, not creation, but the constant, subtle demand to always be doing something, to fill every gap, to justify every pause, to earn every moment of rest. This is not about productivity. This is about identity. Because somewhere along the way, being busy became who you are. And what happens when who you are is built on never stopping? There was a shift, not sudden, not obvious, but powerful. At some point, being busy became a badge of honor. How are you? Busy, not present, not alive, not at peace. Busy, as if exhaustion meant importance, as if stillness meant irrelevance, as if rest had to be deserved. And over time, this answer stopped being descriptive and became performative. We didn't just feel busy, we needed to be seen as busy, because busyness became proof that we mattered, that we were contributing, that we were not falling behind. And once something becomes a virtue, it becomes unquestionable. No one questions what is praised. No one questions what is rewarded. So exhaustion became invisible, not because it disappeared, but because it became normal. Look closely. From a young age, you were trained to fill time, schedules, deadlines, expectations. Your worth quietly linked to output, not who you are, but what you produce. Rest had conditions. Play had limits. Stillness had consequences. And slowly, your nervous system learned something subtle. Movement equals safety. Stillness equals risk. So even when no one is watching, you keep going. Even when nothing is required, you create pressure. Even when you're tired, you override, because stopping feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar feels unsafe. But busyness is not just behavior, it is protection. When you are constantly moving, you don't have to feel. You don't have to sit with unanswered questions. You don't have to face quiet truths. Grief waits in stillness. Clarity waits in silence. Truth waits in space. So the mind keeps you occupied, scrolling, planning, working, consuming, not because you need to, but because stopping would reveal something, and that something feels unknown, and the mind fears what it cannot control. So it chooses noise over truth, movement over meaning. But the body knows. The body always knows. It was not designed for constant alert, not for endless input, not for continuous output, not for permanent urgency. And yet, cortisol rises, breath becomes shallow, sleep becomes fragmented, the body adapts, but at a cost. Tension becomes baseline, fatigue becomes identity, disconnection becomes normal. And because everyone else feels the same way, no one questions it. But normalization does not equal truth. Just because something is common does not mean it is natural. The body remembers what the mind accepts, and eventually it speaks through exhaustion, through burnout, through quiet resistance, not as failure, but as communication. There is a difference between doing and being. Productivity measures output. Presence measures truth. You can produce endlessly and still feel empty. You can achieve everything and still feel disconnected, because output is external, presence is internal. Busyness creates quantity. Presence creates depth, and depth cannot be rushed. It cannot be optimized. It cannot be forced. It unfolds when space exists, but space has been removed. So depth feels inaccessible, not because it's gone, but because there is no room for it. This is why rest feels uncomfortable, not relaxing, not peaceful, uncomfortable, because when you stop, everything you've been avoiding becomes visible. Thoughts surface, emotions rise, awareness expands. And if your system is not used to that, it will resist. Not because rest is wrong, but because it is unfamiliar. So you reach for movement again, not out of laziness, but out of conditioning. Busyness becomes avoidance, not avoidance of responsibility, avoidance of yourself. And what you avoid does not disappear. It waits patiently, quietly, until you are ready to meet it. It is a return to natural rhythm. Here, nothing competes for your attention. Nothing pulls you outward. You are not asked to become more, only to see clearly. Rest is not something you earn here. It is something you remember. Because before conditioning, before pressure, before identity, you existed without needing to prove anything. And that state still exists. Not in the future, not after achievement, but underneath everything you've added. When busyness begins to loosen, something subtle happens. Time changes, not externally, internally. Moments expand, small things deepen, breath becomes noticeable, silence becomes full. You still act, you still create, you still move, but the movement is different. Not rushed, not forced, not proving anything. Clean action without pressure, effort without exhaustion, movement without identity attached. Life becomes rhythmic, not chaotic, intentional, not reactive, alive, not just active. Sit with this quietly. If you stopped equating busy with valuable, what would change? What would you do? What would fall away? What pressure would dissolve? What identity would soften? What silence would appear? You don't need to answer. Just notice what arises, because awareness is the beginning, not effort. You were never meant to live exhausted, not as a default, not as a requirement, not as proof of worth. You were not designed to constantly chase your own value. There is nothing you need to earn in order to rest. This is the 999 zone, where stillness is not emptiness. It is clarity, where rest is not resistance. It is remembrance, and where you finally see you were never meant to be busy. Until next time, let yourself be still. You are already enough.